Hello everyone. Welcome to the video on castling. In this video, we will explore everything about castling, when you can castle, when you're not allowed to castle, what are the rules governing the castling. This is all we are going to explore in this brief video. So we start off with the first position here. As you see, white and black, both the sides have developed all their pieces. The knights, the bishops, and the queen have moved and taken position for completing the development. In this case, it is just the king has to enter into a safe square so that he can go ahead and execute some of his strategical goals and plans. So, as you see, black has just kicked his white's bishop back. So bishop has gone to h4 here. Now it is black's turn to play. And typically what happens is now the king has to find a safe square. Before we get into the castling, one of the themes that we should remember is the king shouldn't have moved from its original square, not even once. Then, under that condition, the king is allowed to move 2 steps either to the right or to the left, swapping the rooks. How it's done? For example, if black moves 2 steps to the right and the rook actually comes to its left. So this is called short side castling. All right. The short side castling is when the king moves to the king side and the rook just moves to the left of the king. And this swapping of rooks and the king is called a castling. Why it is called a castling? Because there are 3 pawns here that shields the king from any side of attack, giving a protection to the king. At the same time, this rook, which was stuck to the corner, gets an opportunity to get into the game. Now this rook is free to move and can take down all these open files. So castling is a way to shelter your king behind the pawns and give it an additional protection as well as activating the rooks. When you do this sort of castling, it's called short side castling. On the other hand, black can also choose to castle the other side. See, he can move 2 squares to the left and the rook comes 1 square to the right. Just like this. Again, you see the pawns are giving some protection to the king. The rook gets activated onto the open file. So this concept of swapping the king and the rook, which is allowed one time in a game, it's called castling. This is the only time the king moves 2 squares. All right. Now, if you look at this, do you see what white can do here? Can white castle? Of course, he can castle. And also to mention here, the king has not moved, so it is allowed to castle now. So where if this king, white king, has to castle short side, where will it land? And where will the rook on h1 will land? Can you guess it? Yes. King goes to g1 and rook comes to f1. So this is called short side castling. Now, can you find what is the long side castling? Where will the king be and where will the rook be? Of course, the king goes to c1 and the rook comes to d1. So this is principally what castling is all about. Now, let's understand some of the rules which governs the castling. Like I mentioned earlier that the king shouldn't have moved. That's first condition. The second condition is that, again, it's white's turn. Let's say white plays bishop h6. Now, let's try to understand the second rule. Now, if black wants to castle the shorter side, in this case, the king has not moved. Yes, he would love to move, but there is a problem. It's not allowed. Do you know why? The reason is this bishop is controlling f8 square, and the king is not allowed to cross over the line of attack and establish a castling. It is principally not allowed. It's illegal move to castle shorter side while entering into the line of attack from this bishop. So it's not allowed. Alternatively, can black castle the long side? Of course, because there are no bishops or knights or anything that is controlling the square, and it's not entering into any line of attack. It's not moved once, so you are allowed to castle this way. It's perfectly allowed. Now, let's understand if white can castle shorter side. Of course, he is not allowed. Do you know the reason why? Yes, because of this bishop controlling f1 square, you cannot cross the path of that line of attack to castle. All right. Now let's see if he is allowed to castle the shorter side, long side. Again, there is a problem. The problem is this rook is controlling d1 square, which doesn't allow him to castle again. So what can he do? If at all he wants to castle, then he has to either bring this knight back, block this way, and then castle on the next move. That is one option. Or if he wants to castle the shorter side, he needs to first block this with c4 and chase him away. Let's say he goes back somewhere randomly, and now he is allowed to castle. So that's the rule that we should keep in mind. All right, there is one more thing you need to remember. Let's see, this is another position, exactly the same position as previous one, but only difference is that there is a bishop giving a check and it is white's turn to move. Can he castle? So in this case, the answer is clearly a no. You cannot castle while your king is under attack. Either you block it like this, and then after he trades, maybe you want to take it with the knight, not with the king. Because if you take it, then you cannot come back here and say that I will castle, because the king has already moved, right? So if you wanted to castle, then you may have to take it with the knight. And then in the following move, you can castle either queen side or king side. It's up to you. So what are the three rules? The three rules are: first, the king shouldn't have moved ever. And second of all, the king should not cross the line of attack while castling to either side. And third, the king cannot be under check while you are entering into a castling. So these are the three rules that you should keep in mind. I hope that helps, and thanks for watching. Looking forward to meet you all in another video with more interesting concepts. Thank you.